Hi, Billy Mays here with the Hayabusa Ninja Village Dragon Castle. It looks so light from where I'm looking at right now, with this beautiful dragon right in front of my eyes. Oh, how pretty. Pretty indeed, Mr. Mays. And may God bless your soul, or may God rest your soul in heaven, good sir. Hey everybody, it's RRPG here, and welcome back to another episode of RRPG Let's Play with Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 on the PlayStation 3. In today's episode, we're going to finish up Chapter 2 for good, and then we'll close things off here. So, let's go ahead and get on with this episode that's already in progress. And here we go. Whoops, I kind of made the wrong turn there. Ooh, I didn't even notice that. And there is some yellow essence in there for more currency. Okay, now we have to come back out here, and this is another one of those things where it leads us to another part of the castle, but we need to go through the outside. And we are just on the rooftops of the castle and escalating it even further. You know, with a setting like this, it kind of reminds me of the game Onimusha, in a sense. Especially Onimusha 2, because there were segments where you, and Onimusha 1, where you did fight off against some enemies on rooftops of buildings. Oh, come on, get off of there. Oh, you had to kill yourself, didn't you? Oh, come on, quit. Here, take this. Yeah, so you end up fighting against some enemies and bosses in the Onimusha series, so it is actually kind of similar to that in a sense, even though they're both entirely different games, but, you know, you can draw the comparisons that way. Okay, and just take a look at the landscape. This is actually very beautiful. And look how far along that the mountains are around here. And even Mount Fuji, which is right over there, and has already been erupted by when the fiends have already been unleashed, based on both Elizabeth and Genshin taking the demon statue out of the the statue of the Buddha's body. Okay, let's go ahead. Hey! There. Take this! And there goes that short distance with trying to execute the Izuna drop, which I find it to be kind of ridiculous. But again, this game doesn't... I mean, there's no basis in reality in this game. I mean, it's basically a free-for-all. I mean, it's the equivalent of the Japanese tropes in video games, anime, and all that stuff, where they act more acrobatic in the air, and their fights are more flashy. You know, sometimes I wish the American audience or game developers in the West would actually try something from the Japanese, and I wish that the Japanese would try something from Americans, which they have. But I just wish that, you know, I know that Westerners tend to be a bit more realistic when it comes to their games, but sometimes they just need to defy the realism at some points in time, and not just stick with it at 100%. Okay, we want to go through there, where we will find Genshin, and we will try to save Joe Hayabusa from his demise. So, let's go.
Father! Oh! You must be Genshin.
And you must be Joe Hayabusa's little cub. It is said that a dragon ninja would die to protect the demon statue. You seem eager to fulfill your duty. Now, Elizabeth, you must keep your word.
Stop!
Your death will atone for generations of cruelties. Bloodline of the Dragon Ninja ends here.
Didn't you say that when we were fighting against Joe Hayabusa? Evidently, he did not get the memo. Okay, when we fight off against Genshin, we can actually pull off the Izuna drop when we fight off against him, but careful. He's not gonna go easy when you're fighting against him, but be sure you heal yourself whenever you get the chance, because he is a pretty tough cookie. And rightfully so. But don't worry, he's not that bad. Get your butt over here. There, this should finish you off. There we go. I thought you didn't even have to deplete all of his energy, but evidently you do. But he still proves to be quite a match when he's fighting against you.
Dead.
Follow the woman. You must retrieve the statue. Go now.
You know what? Since that episode, or since that chapter ended pretty shortly in this episode, we're gonna actually go to chapter 3 right now. So I say we can go to chapter 3 because since that chapter ended pretty shortly, we can add some more to this video. Okay, let's check out the prologue here. Chapter 3, Thunderclap of Catastrophe. The graceful Alexei, one of the 4 greater fiends, appears in the skies over New York, raining lightning upon the streets of the proud city. Ryu Hayabusa arrives in Manhattan in search of Elizabeth, who escaped from Hayabusa Village with the demon statue. The fiends have already begun transforming New York into a fiend realm. Ryu's battle begins as the thunder and laughter of the greater fiend echo throughout the city. So yeah, looks like we're going to be ending up fighting against this greater fiend named Alexei, who seems to be of the thunder element. This should prove to be very interesting, but let's get started, shall we?
A glittering island. An exquisite city of stardust. Breathtaking. But you, my lady, must be so tired of the view. How's that, my dear? Are you pleased? Excellent. I know you've never lied.
Alright, here we are in the heart of the world, New York City. And from when looking at this city, it looks pretty dark, based on all the damage that's occurred around the place. But for the most part, there is going to be some action. And we're going to definitely need some. And I think we actually want to go this way. And I know there's going to be some ninja dogs that are going to appear out of nowhere. And they are going to give us quite a rude awakening. Yeah, there's one right over here. And I can't even use the Izuna drop on it. Oh well. What can you do, huh? Alright, so let's get this puppy back out. Oh, stupid mutts. I know there are some weapons that could actually work a lot better when you're fighting off against some of the enemies here, but for the most part, it really doesn't seem to make that much of a difference because, you know, most of the enemies are... Oh my god! So they are the ones! They're the enemies that actually have the explosive kunai knives on them. So that's something you're going to have to watch out for. Or the incendiary shuriken, as the game calls it. Okay, very good. Very nice. Yeah, I forgot that these mutts had incendiary shuriken on them, so that's something that you need to watch out for. Even though some of the Black Spider ninjas, the ones that are more high in power and that are differently colored, they have the ability of using incendiary shuriken, but The ninja dogs, yeah, you gotta watch out for them too. And look what we got here! We got ourselves the Vigurian Flail, something that we haven't even seen in quite a while since the last game. So I think we're pretty much going to be using this for right now. It's a pretty strong weapon. And one of the weapons that I really liked from the first Ninja Gaiden game, and it became really useful for some of the bosses, but for the most part, it's good to see that it makes a comeback. I love me the Vigurian Flail. Okay, what do we get? Okay, some red essence, even though we don't need it, but we do have some bats that we can pretty much decimate here for some extra essence. And you might be thinking, well, are we just going to continuously see a return of some of the older weapons? Well, don't worry, gamers, because we are going to be seeing some newer weapons, but it just takes some time to get through this. And some of the weapons that we did see that were exclusive to Ninja Gaiden Sigma actually made an appearance in this game as well, like the Tiger's Fang, the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang, or the Dragon's Fang and Tiger's Claw, I think that's what they call it. Oh, nice. Very deadly. And I have yet to use the Azuna drop on with this baby. And I think we're going to do that right now. Get over here. Oh, I didn't even... There we go. Very nice. So yeah, you can pretty much do it with any weapon that you have by pressing square, triangle, and then square, 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 triangle. But I'm not sure how that equates for the bigger weapons, but I think they also work too. But yeah, you can use the Azuna drop with pretty much any weapon that you find, which is a good thing. At first I thought that you only had to use the Azuna drop with only those 3 weapons, but evidently that's not the case, as you can pretty much do that ability with any weapon that you have. But that doesn't work for all enemies. That only works for the ones that are about the same height as you. You know, specifically the humans. Oh, you did not do that. And sometimes it's really tricky to pull off a technique like that when you're up high. Because if you're up high and you do the Azuna drop from quite a high distance, then you have to trek all the way back up here. And you know, when you go up that high when using the Azuna drop, it makes you wonder, how can Ryu still be alive from dropping at from that big of a height? Well, as I said, the game defies reality, since it does go for more of that superhero feeling. And you know, someone actually made this comment on one of my episodes of the Ninja Gaiden Sigma series that I did for RRPG Let's Play, and he said that Ryu, the costume that Ryu currently wears in that game and this game, it actually looks more like a futuristic ninja in covert operations. Well, for me, I can tend to digress that, because when I take a look at what Ryu is wearing in Ninja Gaiden 3, I actually tend to look more at that from what he's saying, but in this game, I think he actually looks more like the superhero archetype, because if you just take a look at the attire that he's wearing, it almost looks like superhero's clothes because of the tights and all that. And you can even see a tied up shot of his rear end too. Oh god. But yeah, I tend to look at him more as a superhero in this game, but in Ninja Gaiden 3, I can definitely see him as a covert ninja, because he actually does work with the Japanese government, eliminating terrorist threats, which was something that I was kind of puzzled by in this game. I mean, kind of puzzled at in the recent trailers for that game, but in this game, he just tends to act more solo when he's fighting off against his enemies. He doesn't try to seek help from a military government whatsoever, even though he kind of does in the original NES trilogy, but not a whole lot in this trilogy, it seems. Okay, so there are some of the flying enemies now, and this is a good spot to where you can actually use your bow when you're fighting off against these enemies. But I think truth be had, you want to be careful when they're flying around, because they can move around and it really makes it hard for you to aim where they are located. But if you just hit the L2 button, you can automatically target your enemy however far they are, which is always a good thing. Okay, very nice. And don't need any more. Okay, and here's another thing that has returned from the original Ninja Gaiden, is we can actually walk on the wire or whatever, or strafe through the wire, but there is a new difference. You can actually strafe a lot faster than ever before, which is very nice. I really like that. Makes things go a little bit quicker. Let's do that! And he is down for the count. Okay, let's see. What do we have that's over here? We don't have anything. Don't really have anything right over there. But anyway, alright, since we have made it this far into the level, I think this will probably be a good spot to where we can close things off here. So, next time on Double RPG Let's Play with Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 on the PlayStation 3, we're going to resume where we left off. And we're going to continue on with this chapter. And we'll probably go down into the subway for a little more excitement. Alright, gamers, take care of yourselves, and I shall see you on the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys then.